anything in the list, you actually select it in the scene live. So as you can see, I can move around the model, I can select lights, cameras, you name it. I've got all of the filters up here, and it makes it a very powerful tool. So I'll probably be using that throughout this tutorial, just to make selections and isolate things, even freeze things. You'll see here you've got the ability to hide, freeze, make things see-through, cull back faces. So very powerful indeed. So I'll just close that down for now, and we'll move on. So we'll go into a front view, and we're going to just bring up our layer manager, and we're going to hide the body, and we're going to hide the teeth, and we're going to hide the set. So the only thing we need open is the default, which has our iProxy 2 and iProxy 1. And we're not even going to use both those iProxies. So for now, we're actually going to delete this iProxy 2. We don't need it. And since we know that we've lined this sphere up in the eye socket, we can just go ahead and start modeling. I'm just going to hit Control L just to make sure I've got my default lighting on. And we're right to get started. I'll just go M and just give it a default material, just this first material swatch, and just apply to geometry there. Just makes it a little easier for us to see what we're doing. It doesn't have any specular highlight on it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to select enough segments in our sphere so that it's maintaining a nice smooth circle or spherical shape. Now we can always apply a mesh smooth later on to get even tighter, so be careful not to go too high, but one thing you need to maintain is that there is a row of edges that go right through the middle, and there's another row of edges that go right down the center, and that'll become apparent in just a little while when we start to cut the iris detail in. We're going to sort of select a section, we're going to chop it out, flip it around, and we need to weld the vertices back together. And so the fact that it's uniform in these quadrants is going to make that task far more doable, and it's going to make it work nicely. Okay, so there's our sphere. I've used 48 segments. The radius is relative to the size of the eye socket that you've got, and